Hello. Sorry about that. My potato PC does this for some reason. Suddenly the whole PC just doesn't want to work. But anywho, basically what I was trying to say during those broken mic moment. Hello, I'm Ubi. Back from my break, and well, basically I already streamed last week, but yeah, back this week, kind of. And you know, today is just a chill, or probably not, I don't know, data talk and art drawing. So today I'm just gonna draw on paint, just because. Also, might be just draw with a mouse. Also just because, no reason in particular. Okay. Also, this is a blank canvas. I have no idea what to draw, to be honest. So, we'll see. We'll see what I can see. Ooh. Oh, undo works. Okay. Sorry, burpee. Hell yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Sorry, I'm just playing around. No, not sorry. You know what? Not sorry. I'm just gonna play with whatever. Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna use whatever. Let's draw me. Let's draw me in paint. And I'm drawing in with a mouse. Promise. I promise I'm drawing with a mouse. but you'll see that the reason why I'm pretty okay-ish with the mouse because, fun fact, this is how I started out. I didn't have a tablet. We didn't know that. I didn't know the existence of tablets. I only know them from a magazine. Yeah, that was like more than 10 years ago, I think. So it started out one day. Little Ubi was okay. Back then, locally, we had a magazine, right? And that magazine is like our back then was the source for all our anime, games, manga community information, because the internet was not a reliable source yet back then. Like, we're just starting out. Anime was not popular yet online, so back then we still rely on DVDs, quote, dubiously official DVDs, magazines and such. So but then we had a magazine that runs on that, that becomes our sort of official source of, games, manga, comics, information back then. And at first they created like a generic, like not generic, so more like, okay, this is general entertainment, so this is like more comic, manga, general. They also release another sub magazine in a way that specifically targets towards artists, basically. And it was pretty cool. And that was the first time, little Ubi got her eyes open to the wonderful world of digital art. And my first, and I still have them. I still have them, I think, in my shelf somewhere. And they're like, and they have this, okay, inside the magazine itself. The magazine is around A4-ish. Not really A4. It's like, but it's a magazine size, right? Whatever magazine size was back then, I totally forgot. But it was a little shorter than A4. And inside, like in the middle of the staple, like, at the center of the books, that's where you can find the center of the stapler, right? And they put a tiny booklet in there, A5-ish, like literally smaller. So it's a book in a book kind of way, right? So inside that, every month the book comes out. What do you call it? Okay, how do I? Okay, edit colors. So inside that magazine, right, are like artists, featured digital artists. So you see, digital artists not really that popular back then, right? And it's not just digital, really. It's just artists who already had successful projects, right? So back then, like successful mangakas who can color as well. It's not just, okay, sometimes some mangaka can only draw comics, but they're not that great with their covers. But there are those who are great with their covers and their art as well, and great with colors, yeah, right? So one of the examples was Tenjo Tenge's artist and mangaka, Ogurito. He's still one of my favorites, but his art is like super rare nowadays. I don't know what happened, but yeah, super rare. But his marker renderings was really great. The dynamic was like top notch back then. So yeah, they had that, and then they pushed like other digital artists. Like, imagine like if the Twitter artists, all the popular ones get featured like their own little tiny booklet in there, right? Tiny little art book. So you get to see some of the samples of their work. And if the magazine got lucky, they can actually even get interviews, just online interviews with them. And it was pretty cool. It was like you get to see all the what do I use this one? yeah, so it's pretty cool to see all the processes sometimes, all the how they color, how they, render digital art, because digital art was pretty sparse back then. It was just mainly, I think manga art was kind of a thing, but it wasn't like super popular. I mean, not say super popular. It was like a rise of like how manga pretty much just tapped into our local industry, and it got popular and whatnot. Did piss off some local artists for sure back then. There was a bit of a war back then. I think that people are still pretty salty about that, and a lot of us don't really care because to us, like, manga art was like the shit back then. So it was pretty. So that book had little booklets, right? And I collect them, and I forgot some of the artist's name, but I really was really inspired how they render with digital art. And I think the first one that I saw that really blew my mind during that time was definitely Hyung Tai Kim, or Kim Hyung Tai. Sorry if I have no idea how they pronounce the family name. Either, if I'm not mistaken, Kim is the first. So Kim Hyung Tai or Hyung Tai Kim. Hyung Tae. Sorry, I'm not great with Korean names either. So yeah, Hyun Tae Kim, he was popular, but his works only, of course, back then popular in Korea. But of course, they couldn't reach to Malaysia yet back then. But PS2 was already up and running. So what happened was his art got featured, and we get to see his work basically, right? And it blew my mind. So during that time, the game that in Korea that was releasing during that time was was Magna Carta. Magna Carta 2, not 1. The 1 probably already came out, but it's only like in Korea. It didn't work. It didn't break the global market yet. But in Korea, but they got Magna Carta 2, and I saw the art, and I'm like, little me just is like being shown this magical world of digital art, right? So the best part was that they had tutorials. They managed to get like I wouldn't say tutorial, it's just like a process how he does it. And the best part, of course, one thing that I wanted to know back then basically, was what tool that he used, right? So back then he used Corel Painter. Corel Painter still exists now, but I'm not sure its reliability. But yeah, he used Corel Painter, and hardware wise, he used a Wacom tablet. So that was the first time I heard about a drawing tablet. All this time, the first time I saw this tablet was used for, you know how they have digital signatures at banks back then? So yeah, that's the closest I have seen to one, or have used one. And yes, Wacom was mainly used for that. And to see that, oh, I can actually use that. So I immediately begged my dad to go to the city and tell them that I need to find a drawing tablet. At first I just call it a tablet. He didn't get it either. I'm like, what tablet? Yeah, it's called a tablet. And I want to use it to draw. It's like those, it's like when I was writing inside the computer. I'm like, oh, okay. And he was like, okay, makes sense. So we went and drive that weekend. Imagine, after I bought the book, and immediately that weekend, like, can you bring me to the city? I want to go buy. Let's go find a tablet, right? So we did. And lo and behold, it was the same model that he used. I forgot what model it was, but it was silver in color, and it was pretty small. Even the DPI was really low back then. It was technically used for writing, right? It was technically used for writing. The pressure is just really limited. But that was the only one available back then. Wacom wasn't keen on making it. Like digital drawing wasn't a booming yet back then. But there was 250 ringgit. But my dad was like, okay, not bad. And he bought it for me. So that was my first tablet. And I used that tablet for the next 7 years, basically. And that's how I got, you know, that's how I found out about digital drawing, basically. And but before that, much before that, of course, there was a point where before I made the decision to go to my dad to take me to the city and go get that tablet, right? So I actually tried to use paint and a mouse with a mouse and keyboard and whatnot, just basic things. And I actually went to look at tutorials on how to color, how to get that anime effect, how to get that the same colors as anime and whatnot, like legitimately I actually went through tutorials one by one. And that's when I felt, you know what, I need to invest, And it wasn't just, okay, after I got the tablet, right, I'm like, okay, this is pretty, how do you call it, pretty tough to use. Okay, the first time, I will admit that the first time I used that tablet was like, it took me 3 months. I actually, okay, I used it for a bit, and it was tough. And I left it alone for like 3 to 4 months. Like, literally not left there on the table, right? And just use PC just like any, just for music and yada yada. And what happened was of course I keep buying that magazine, right? And of course they start to showcase more artists. There's just great in digital artists. I suppose that was the reason why I ended up coming back to that digital art. Basically, I went back to the tablet, and you know what? And I told myself, you know what? It's okay. Let's try again, and I did. I tried again. I really went for it and found a tutorial. You know those books, the how to draw manga books? Back then, they actually had blogs and websites that showcased the very basic version of the tutorials. I relied on that 100%. And my first digital art style was pretty anime. pretty anime, anime cells, shading colored. And at one point it was pretty difficult using the tablet. I actually used a mouse because it was way easier, because the tutorial actually teaches me to not to use a mouse, not just a tablet. Basically just how animators did it in like studios. So that one lone very old manga, how to draw manga tutorial was what carried me throughout the months later. And even before that, like when I was frustrated with the tablet, I actually used the mouse because with the tablet there was actually a drawing software in there, so I utilized that. It wasn't that great either. I think it was Corel Draw, and it's not Corel Painter. Draw was very basic, nothing much. I managed to go find a copy of Photoshop, an old version of Photoshop somewhere on the internet, and that's how I also started learning using Photoshop. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty, like, finally I'm going somewhere. But I had one problem where I had trouble drawing, like sketching on digital, right? Because it's actually pretty hard to draw. Like I didn't have a stable hand yet. Like unlike my work now is just line heavy. During that time, also I was pretty I was pretty confident with my line art, right? Because my initial dream was to be a mangaka. Basically, I didn't realize that, you know, it's yeah, but I haven't like I wasn't confident with my skills, so I couldn't even get like a. I wouldn't say I wouldn't get it. It's just I'm still too small to get a job, right? But if I was old enough, I would have been able to become like a line artist for comics and stuff. So I was pretty confident with my skills, my line art skills. I had the patience for it, but I was too small, unfortunately. So, oh well, little me. But anywho, I'm off topic. I'm way off the path. What I'm saying is that okay, drawing when I was pretty confident with my lines, already confident enough for my lines, but when I tried to translate it to my to digital art, to my digital lines, it was so hard. It was shaky. Added that, of course now the knowledge is that higher sensitivity tablets are better for better line art quality and whatnot. I didn't have any options back then, so I have to utilize that low DPI tablet. So I had to use that whether I like it or not. My dad already paid for it, so I have to like utilize it. So it's not fun, but it was manageable basically. And what ended up happening was, okay, this is not working. I am not doing well with the line art because line art is important for me, well, at least for me back then, because, well, duh, I trained myself to do it, right? So I also found out that, so I look around the internet, what can I do to ensure that my lines are great, and how, because I'm still used to using pen and paper, right? So I found on the internet that okay, you can actually use pen and paper, no problem. And I found out that I could scan it. That's also the first time I learned about scanners, basically. And yeah, got myself just a low budget one. My dad was like, "Kat, do you want to get the one with the printer?" And I'm like, "Nah, just get me just the scanner, because we already have a printer at home anyways." So that's how we end up. That's how I end up with a tablet and a scanner, and it helped a lot. It helped way more than I expected because I finally was able to make do with. I finally draw on, like, sketch on paper, scan it, clean it up, and then be able to apply colors in it. Still cell shaded, cell shaded, solid colors, but still, it was great. It was like, yeah, I was having, I was actually making progress. That's all I ever wanted. I wanted progress, and it was pretty cool. That's how I started out in digital art, and then I felt, and I don't know, back then, because nowadays it's like it's so hard to, it is such a very competitive world out there that you might not feel confident with your work, but then you have like people who are, but back then, sorry, I got my brain went somewhere unknown, went off again. Basically, unlike nowadays, it's like, you're kind of don't want to show your sketches, right? You don't want to show your incomplete work. Back then, we're spamming. We're just like, oh look, I drew this weird looking turtle, and I just post it on websites, and I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a damn. Look at me progressing, and people appreciate it. People look at it and say, "Oh, it's cool. At least you can. That's a pretty cool artwork." And of course, drawing fan arts, joining fandoms, the shindigs and whatnot. big steps, big world. And of course it comes with all the dramas and whatnot, but that's part of the journey, right? That's part of the journey of life growing up. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Origins, artist origins of myself. But yeah, nowadays it's like, of course, as time goes by, and and you found out when you're growing up that a lot of people are becoming more and more, really into drawing, into like digital arts, really want to get the industry and whatnot. It becomes very competitive, and that's in comparison to 10 years back then. It's so competitive. It's very competitive, unfortunately. Back then was pretty chill. Everybody be drawing, everybody be chilling, everybody's just starting out, everybody's shy, but we're hanging out. But nowadays it's like, it's so competitive that a lot of young artists is just having so much trouble getting themselves up. And I myself as well, I'm considered like an old-timer artist as well. Kind of difficult to catch up with the advancements. I would say advancements, just more like how fast like newer artists or younger artists just started popping up here and there, and showing up with this basically just godlike levels in just 10 years or less than that. Like, oh, I'm only 16 and can draw like someone who's already in their, who's supposedly like in their 30s. I used to be disheartened, not gonna lie. I used to be disheartened because back then when I was studying, I was already, feeling it in the 20s, feeling the 20s creeping in, graduating and whatnot. And to see like newer, younger artists just getting way better at doing things. Of course, there's so much like healing to go from there, to then figure out that, and then telling yourself, it's okay. Back then, I didn't have, up to when I was 10 years old, I didn't have exposure yet towards this digital art. But kids they had an early startup, right? Like 6, 7 years old. So they have a few years earlier to really get passionate, and not to mention like they have better opportunities and whatnot. So pretty, it's like they have their own world and whatnot. And yeah, it's pretty tough out there as an artist, even for myself. So the least I can do right now is just be there for myself and trying to heal all this envy, all the things that I told myself that nearly crippled my confidence, and just trying to cope with it, trying to make myself feel more confident with my skill. Because not gonna lie, when I look back at my skills, I'm like, man, I draw a lot. When I think about it, I drew a lot. And some people were like, they draw like 10 artworks, whatever level it is, and would immediately make art books. I haven't had it made, printed, or whatever, had an art book since I started drawing. I am one lazy MF who feel like, no, I have not had, all this time I felt like I haven't reached that level where I'm worthy of having an art book. And yeah, kind of sucky to think about, but at least when I think back, like, if I hadn't had that mentality, I would have not improved, right? But basically it goes both ways anyways. I did make myself stagnant, make myself feel like I didn't have any improvement. At one point, of course, there's always that love-hate relationship with art. That's a given. And but thankfully my baseline is still that no matter what, no matter how much I would hate my artwork, eventually I will go back to art regardless. I really love it. I don't really have, I think it's like my copium, I don't know what you call it. I don't know, it is a way of expression, right? That the little child in me still wants that comfort that comes from drawing. If I do question it, I do question whether or not all the time, should I go back, I mean, go back, go back to where? I mean, go to, you know quote unquote normality. Should I just let go and just get something normal hobbies, right? Or just keep this super casual? I tried that. I tried to make this just a hobby, and to say that my parents wasn't pissed. Oh, they're pissed. They're pissed that I'm not over this, quote unquote, over this phase. It's like, for them, it's like, nah, this is just a phase, you'll get over it. What they didn't realize is that this is permanent. this whole thing is permanent. There's nothing temporary about it. It's not a phase. It's not a phase, Mom. But yeah, that's the journey to it. That's the journey I had to go through. And I think now more than ever, I think it's like a perfect time for anyone to pursue art, because here's the thing. The world, like whatever's belief system that, hang on, why is my screen, sorry, my tablet on the left side's a little dark, so I got a little worried. Something about the system that we live in, it's nice that you want to work hard, to get a house and whatnot, just living that normal default life. I'm okay if you guys wanna go for that, right? But at the same time, for whatever reason, do not, if you feel like you want to draw, if you feel like you want to craft, right, you want to pursue a hobby, right, don't neglect that. Allow yourself to have that hobby, because if not, you'll regret it for sure. At least in my lifetime right now, I feel like it is tough, right? It's tough, like economically, financially, it's really tough. That's what I feel back then. No lies about that. It was tough. Even it's tough now even. But for the past how many months since I unemployed? Let's say more or less half a year, 6 months, right? For the past 6 months, I was unemployed, searching for the right job. I wouldn't say the perfect job, but just the right job, the right fit, and had virtues that I can deal with, I can work with, and whatever, and see how the level of tolerance that I have to deal with. I think it's one thing that is eye-opening for me is that while I was looking for those, I also started focusing on myself. And the result is that I became more peaceful, so to speak. I had this talk with my therapist recently. I tell them, they ask me the usual, like, how are you, how it's been, and I told them that I am actually at my most peaceful right now. Like, yeah, I haven't got a job yet, but I've done so much work for myself. Like, I do things for myself to actually, you know, feel like I'm moving forward, even though I don't have like something. Like, it used to be very hard for me if because the moment I quit my job, I feel like my world just stopped, right? Like, my world just paused. Like, I'm pausing where I am, not going anywhere. I feel stagnant. I don't feel like, I'm not moving forward, and everybody else gets to, keep moving forward and whatnot. And doom scrolling definitely did not help with that, with social media and whatnot. Seeing all my friends getting married, traveling, buying houses, buying cars, yada yada, definitely did not help, right? But the past 6 months, of course, my last session, that's the recent session, that my last previous session, my therapist actually kind of got a little uh, mad at me that I said that I felt stagnant, that I felt stuck, right? Because that was what was the whole point of me getting therapy. I'd feel like I'm not moving forward. So she told me that you need to look back and review, have like review about what you've done for the past few months or few days or few weeks, or basically just review your last few steps, right? Because I think that was the problem with me, that I keep trying to look forward, that I forgot to look back for a little bit to see where I'm going. So I'm not even looking forward. I'm looking way front over there. Like, I'm not even looking on my feet forward. I'm looking like way up front, because I'm looking for a job, right? So I'm looking way out there, looking out. But I'm not looking where I'm standing, where I'm footing. That turns out I am moving forward, but I didn't realize that. Because the problem is that the more I move forward towards those jobs, I feel, and then I couldn't get those jobs, I feel like I'm getting further, like stopping or not. Basically, I don't feel like moving forward, right? Because that's the goalpost that I put for myself, and I needed to go forward, right? And I need to reach that goalpost, but I keep losing that goalpost because no jobs are offering, no jobs are, replying to me. It was frustrating, not gonna lie. So, what my therapist said, you need to stop looking out there for a bit and look now. Like, look at your feet right now. Look at my own feet. Look at where I'm going right now. And or look back. If you're stopping, right? If you feel like you're stopping, look back. Were there footprints? Of course there's footprints. We're moving forward. We didn't realize that, right? We didn't focus on ourselves. So I made it my goal to shift my mindset to that. So instead of thinking about jobs, well, it is important, but I don't have to make it my whole basically, how can I say this? How do I say this? How I want to explain how I organize my mindset, basically. The problem with like me focusing so much on job hunting was that I made it the only thing right in front of my eyes. I don't see any other things. So yeah, basically I narrow myself, right? I pretty much narrow my view, and that's all I want to see. I just want to see jobs. I want to see emails and whatnot. I don't see everything else. I start to neglect everything else. Start to ignore it. Ignore the good things that are happening with me while I'm standing. So a lot of things that I nearly took for granted. So for example, I had time. I had time to do things. I finally had time to take a breath, take a breather and rest and not think about stupid people at the office. stupid dumb people that's the one that's causing me to quit my job. I don't have to think about that. I have time to visit my family and bond with them again. I have time to cook and learn and enjoy things again. So in order for me to shift this, I decided I need to do something about this, because my ADHD brain definitely do not remember. It ignores it. It just blinds me from this, right? I keep forgetting things immediately, and it becomes a habit, right? So what I did was I have what I call a good noodle board. So inspired by SpongeBob. So in that episode where Patrick joined SpongeBob in his class, the driving class, I think. So in that class, there's a giant board with everyone's name on it. So it's called the good noodle board. So for every good deed that you do in the class that the teacher sees, the teacher is going to reward you with 1 star. So in that story, of course, SpongeBob has like hundreds on the scoreboard. Everybody had like an average like 10 or 5 and yada yada. And then of course, the later of the episode, SpongeBob got really mad that, you know, because of Patrick's I don't know what he did. I forgot about what he did, but he made SpongeBob lose 1 star, and then SpongeBob got like really mad at it. Got really mad at him. Like, you make me lose 1 star, one out of like hundreds or thousands. I think Patrick said something like that. You had others as well, right? You had other stars. So, but yeah. Anywho, yeah, I have a physical. It's just a piece of colored paper, basically, pasted on my wall near me. And I also got, you know, those very cute post-it notes and stickers and whatnot. So I use those. So what I did was, before I sleep, or at least that week, usually whatever happens that day, I would have like a day review before like after the whole day. I would just write down the date and basically what good deed that happened. Anything great, you know, anything that you feel, that I feel is a great achievement, like small wins, even the small wins, right? So for example, I have days where the fight, flight, and freeze is gonna kick in, right? Like I was starting to freeze, basically. I'm starting to doom scrolling. I'm starting to become, my body, my whole existence started to become very heavy. So I know that my freeze is gonna kick in, right? My nervous system is starting to freeze. So I fought it for a couple of days. I tried to fight it, right? I fight it, and eventually I managed to overcome it. Basically, the reason the freeze happened because I got overwhelmed with I got multiple replies from the job application, but they gave like really difficult tests, and everyone's deadline was all the same time or near each other, and the tests were really overwhelming me a lot. It's not just one test, like a couple of tests altogether. It was heavy work as well. So it got me really into this overwhelmed mode. So when I'm overwhelmed, I tend to get freeze, right? So I fought that. It was difficult, definitely, trying to get out of that. And because the overwhelm gave me brain fog, and that's not fun either. When you brain fog, you can't think logically. It's kind of annoying. So I want to think logically, right? I want to, weigh my options. I have a lot of replies. I gotta weigh my options, right? And it took me days later to finally be able to get up. And what I do instead, I told myself, we don't need to make a decision yet. Just do other stuff that doesn't need big decisions. So that's what I did. I opened my PC and I closed it back. Didn't do anything about it. But the next day I tried again, opened my PC, opened the files, especially the commissions I had to draw, right? I just opened the files and I closed it back. And finally, at the end of that day, finally be able to finish 1 or 2 commissions, right? Even 1 commission was great already. And finally, the brain fog clears because, I finally, the fire freeze moment finally, the overwhelm feeling start to reduce because I reduced 1 task off. And that helped a lot, and finally I made the decision. I can finally make decisions on how to do that. So it got really overwhelming really fast. And yeah, that was... And if you think that's like not a small... If you think that's not a big feat, fuck you, really. Then you don't understand mental health. Then you're just someone who either avoids your emotions, your struggles, and just deem it just shit or whatever. So fuck you. This is big win for me. And I was pretty happy that I did that. Okay? I was happy that I did that. I finished my work. I do my freelance and make big decisions about my life, right? So I take that down, put it on my post-it notes, smack that on the wall. Okay. So the idea is that once you have plenty enough on the wall, if you ever feel like you're down or you feel like you're not moving forward, just look at the wall, look at that noodle board, and you start to see a lot of stickers, a lot of post-it notes on there. And then that's how you imagine, and that's how you apply, you know, looking back at your footprints, so that to remind yourself that you are moving forward, that you have done all these things, that you've struggled and you won. And also, it's okay. If, let's say, you know, there are days that you struggle, but you're not able to do anything, but you still keep yourself survive, put it on that wall. It's fine. It's a small win. It's a small wins that important. It's a way to physically, like literally physically, shift your mindset, you know, because sometimes, like, if for myself, I don't, whatever I tell myself sometimes doesn't work, right? So sometimes, fine, I'll make this external, I make it physical then. So I put it on a wall, handwritten, so you can cheat that, you know. My brain cannot dispute that, like, oh yeah, we did that, we did that, yeah. And then it shuts up, and that's all there is to it. That's all we need. That's all we ever needed. We needed the peace and quiet. We don't have our brain just shut the hell up. Okay? We're moving forward. We're doing well. Okay? We're making progress. Okay? And it doesn't matter what other people think, because they're not living our lives. That's important. That's the most important thing. Deep breaths. I got it riled up. Hey, I mean, I'm yapping, so that's a good thing. Yeah, the reason why I stopped drawing, because if I draw, I'm gonna trail off, so I might as well just finish whatever topic that I'm in. Oh yeah, well, yay, we managed to draw. Okay, I promise you that I'm drawing with a mouse. Okay, I'm not drawing with a tablet. I'm not drawing with a tablet at all, promise. I'm just, yeah, I mean, around the time before I own a tablet, I use a mouse. And I found out my motor skills are pretty cool. I have pretty decent motor skills. So that's how I, you know, is able to create all... I can draw... Like, that was my beginnings before I started tablet. Like, because the problem with a lot of tablet users had is that it's the eye-to-hand coordination sometimes doesn't work. And I'm talking about, I know people also confused by this. Drawing tablets that back then don't have screens. Okay? The big ones, the big clunky, hunky Cintiq, Wacom Cintiq is also a Wacom brand, cost an arm and a leg. Okay? Cost like a deposit of a car back then. It was only industry use. And you cannot get that. Nowadays, it's only like whatever price that they sell these days is only a fraction what is sold back then. I remember the highest they sold, and it wasn't even a good one. It cost like 15k. It was a 5-digit cost. It was so ridiculous, but yeah, see how far technology has gone, right? But yeah, but before that, what? Oh, how do I? You know? No, I don't want to move it. I want to do this. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, pretty expensive, you know. So that's why I feel like nowadays people are just, you know, thinking that, oh, but tablets are so expensive now. You haven't seen back then how expensive it was. It was expensive as heck. Oh, there you go. Can I... Okay, no. I'm trying to make a bunch of crystals, but I feel like this is kind of annoying. I'm just gonna Just gonna use this. But yeah, tablets are expensive back then, so it's like, be grateful that nowadays it even has a screen. I'm using one with a screen as well, and yeah, it's really how far people have gone. But back then, yeah, I had to train my eye and hand coordination because there's no screen tablets back then. Okay, I want to make straight lines. Why is it so hard? Fill solid color. Is it solid color? Okay, I can do color. Yeah, we've gone a long way, man. We've gone a long way. I don't want to be so boomer about it, but we've gone way longer with the technologies. Utilize it. I know it's very overwhelming. I get it. It's so many tutorials, so many resources, unlike back then. But I guess that's what's helping us back, especially myself back then, because there's not much choices. So you gotta use whatever you have, right? So I think that was the plus side. But nowadays it's like, yeah, it's everywhere. You can get tutorials everywhere. Use. Utilize. Don't just save them. Use. If not, you're gonna get like those academy, online quote-unquote academy stuff. Just, you know, paywalling those tutorials. Just use whatever you have. If you, especially, okay, I don't know if this helps anymore because I'm seeing quite a rare situation, but understandable because there's just so many artists out there that it gets overwhelming, right? Just pick an artist and just stick to their art. Just go for it. Just go. Just do it. Just pick one. Okay, it's overwhelming. Just pick one or save one or five. So that every now and then you can just pick one and follow that artist if you get bored with the other. Because I had a few back then and I stick to them. And my other tip is that just look at what you like about those arts and follow them. Follow it, right? Like for example, like there's this one local artist I really like. His line art was like pretty dynamic, really good. So it's one of the reasons why I really liked his artwork. His storytelling, not so much. He kind of sucked at that, but his stories are. But his line art, his art style, really, really cool. Really, really, like, very clean. Very. I mean, it used to be clean. Nowadays, it's like shit, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, his line art was pretty clean. The girls he draws very pretty. The poses are very dynamic. I was really into his artwork, so I took his art style basically to learn. It's not exactly like I didn't really like trace his artwork or anything. I look at his line art like literally I would just imagine myself, you know, holding like those magnifying glass like to a T and trying to look into this, like what makes his artwork so good, right? So good to look at. And that's it. Just look at that and enjoy, not just enjoy his artwork, just figure out what makes the artwork good and figure it out. And I found out that he double lines art his artwork, right? He first create the clean artwork, clean line art, and then he and then he went braining yeah, and then at first he traced the basics first, the basic first line using just one size pen, and then you erase your sketch, right? And then you leave yourself with this pretty cool your pretty much your baseline art, right? one that you always complain to yourself, why is my line art so flat, what is going on? So that's where you double line art it. So what you do is you create line in like a lot of line depth of lines, variable ones, some thick, some thin, some you put use as shadow, you put more like sketch hatchings here and there, and that's kind of the point. And that's how you create a more dynamic line art, and that's what I did for a couple of years with my own hands. So at least I can say that I'm pretty proud of my hand drawing skills. But of course nowadays I'm still awkward. I'm kind of awkward drawing on paper, but I am still confident with it. Just a little awkward because I haven't done digital art in a while. So, digital art, sorry. I haven't done, traditional art. I call it traditional, but I don't know why. Not basically. Yeah, see, this is why I don't yap and art. So note to self, don't yap and art next time. Yeah, but yeah, I learn to make my line art interesting by doing that, by being pretty much, I guess I would say I was pretty obsessive. Whoops. I was pretty obsessive with this art. So do that. Be obsessive. Be obsessed. I'm obsessed. Because that's how you learn. That's how you progress. That's how you get good. Okay, let me just. Why did I use blue? So ugly. Aha. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was contemplating something. Brain does that. When I focus, I'm focused. I'm locked in, as they say these days. I'm locked in. I am not. I'm losing. See, I told you. Totally locked in. No buts. No chill. Just draw and focus. Focus. And yeah, this is fun. It's kind of nice to draw with the mouse again. It's been a long while, yes, but it's fun. Anywho, let's divert a little bit. I forgot that I was supposed to talk about what I found out, what meditative thing that I have found out for the past week, where that I had to immediately take an emergency break a whole week to stop streaming. So the situation that I was facing was that one, of course, I think I've told in the post, I'm not sure if I told before, but it was post Chinese New Year, so I'm expecting replies from from the job applications I applied. So I also am expecting it basically means that I'm going to be making big, adult decisions, right? Adult decisions, okay. Yeah, big life decisions. So, and I don't know, I guess instinctively I knew why I understood why I really needed that break, to the point where I can't even stream anymore, because I knew that I could not cope with making big decisions while be able to stream. Like, I don't like that mix of energy. Basically, I don't like that cocktail of energy. It will bring the mood down even further. Like, I think I even accidentally trauma dumped on a few of the last week's streams. I'm sorry about that. I try to do less. Trying my best to do less of that. But yeah, like I said, that energy was already creeping up, and added that I already am facing a lot of shit already. So it's not fun per se for me. I'm not having my fun mood. So I had to like, okay, I need to step back and really take a break. And it was a tough decision regardless. I don't read because I'm already like, I'm already excited to stream, right? To keep up with the schedule and to suddenly have to pause immediately, and because life wants me to answer some big decisions that FYI I didn't even accept some of them offers. I had to reject it because sus. Okay, I have, because one thing you have to know about me, I'm tired of exploitative behaviors from companies. And sometimes you can see the red flags basically, or how they reply to you via HR. And immediately, you know what? I think I made the right decisions, because when I rejected one of the companies, they didn't even bother to reply back or anything. Unlike some of the companies that I did reject, and they replied nicely, like, okay, at least I can recommend those because at least they say thank you or good luck, or just anything to close the transaction, right? But these people, nope, they don't give two shits about that at all. Not a thank you, not even like a good luck or thank you for informing, whatever. From there you can already see their true nature. And I hope that if you all are like job hunting, just try to be careful with those kind of companies. If they can't treat you right in front of, if the HRs are not even that nice, be just be aware, be careful with how they're gonna treat you after they hire you. It's not exactly a like great measurement, but regardless, that's like your first thing that you would, because here's the thing, once you start working, you'll be working a lot with HR, and if shit goes down, if HR is going to treat you like nothing, like upfront, they're not going to treat you any better after either. So just a side note basically. Not to say, of course, oh, HR that replies are meaning good company. Not that either. Sometimes I do have experience with HRs who's like, okay, they're super nice, they communicate, they do well, yada yada, they do their work. Basically, they're doing what they paid for, basically, which is great. Great for them. But I'm saying that, they don't necessarily reflect the company as a whole. Sometimes they do hide shit as well, because they work, because you have to remember that they are working for the company, right? They pro bosses, of course. You're just hired, and you're just that. They're just hiring managers. Like if they do the job, that's great. That's good reflection of their management, but not the company as a whole. I'm just saying that. Because I had experience working with companies, great HR, just very generally shit production team. So there's that. So there's that. Something to keep notes if you're looking for jobs. Because I always keep in mind that, okay, no matter, okay, sometimes there are actually good people, like good people working in HR, right? That's fine. But professionally, I still don't trust HR. Just generally, I don't trust HR. Because at the end of the day, they are just one, it's not just about doing the job, right? But I'm talking about more like integrity and the position that they're working with. You have to remember that they are technically the upper echelons. They manage the people, right? I mean the human resources. Duh. But yeah, you have to understand their position as a resource manager and where they stand. So don't piss them off, but at the same time don't treat, yeah, like, okay, I mean, I'll say don't piss them off, but don't think that they can be your ally 100% either. So yeah, I think that's like the that's what I'm trying to say. Because there are like I've met before, oops, because I met before, you know, HRs are like, okay, you're pretty decent, but at the same time, your methodologies, you know, the way you handle things are kind of inhumane. And I've met this kind of like they're super nice at you, you know, they're like, hey, you're like they're super friendly, doing all this pretty much checks the good the good noodle guy. Like checks up, or like, yes, they are representing themselves as pretty decently good people, but you have to understand that their stance is that they have to choose the company over you if and when needed. So yeah, I mean, I keep repeating myself anyway, so you guys get the point. What is the reason why I'm doing this? Because I see this. Let's see if I can. Ooh, okay, it's not from center. Do. Okay, cool. But anywho, yeah, back to the explanation to what happened last week. Yeah, things got overwhelming. I think I knew instinctively that, okay, I need a timeout from streaming for a bit, because I'm starting to I'm starting to form like bad energy basically. I knew I'm gonna overwhelm myself because it's gonna be big life decisions. So I took the week off. Like the moment it starts to kick in, I have to take it on. I have to take the break immediately. That's why that one was it Tato Talk or whatever, yeah, I had to stop that stream. I have to cancel it immediately. Not even like I figured that last time I wanted to, like, okay, if I cancel I need to cover it for another day, but no, I really cannot do it. I really cannot. I really don't have the energy, basically. And that's not great to carry on stream, basically. And if you're wondering if, you know, okay, am I feeling better? Technically not really. I'm not that better either, but at least way better than whatever last week was. Yeah, at least, yeah, again, better than whatever last week was, basically. Whatever that BS that happened last week. Way better. It was pretty, like, I was really in a storm in my own head. It's like a big storm. And I really cannot avoid it. I cannot stream with that energy. It's not just about that. I use streaming as an escape way to escape, so not great either. Can't do that. Don't do that. Word from someone who is on therapy. Yes, I'm serious about this. Don't. If you're feeling the storm coming in, right? If you're feeling like, oh no, the shit storm's coming, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Don't ignore that. Don't push yourself. Take your rest. Take the break. Take the gap. Gap yourself. you know, like I myself, I got really burned out plus with the overwhelming. So yeah, uh if you need the break, just take it. If you need the time off, just do it. And your rest, okay, here's also another tip from someone who's recovering as well. Your rest doesn't have to be perfect either. Just stop doing whatever. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, basically. What I mean is not perfect, meaning that yes, you will feel anxious, you will feel restless while you're resting, while you're doom scrolling, while you're watching TV, or eating, cooking, cleaning the house, yada yada, do chores and whatnot. You will feel anxious, and that's fine. The idea is to just gap yourself. Don't force yourself to do things that you don't want to. And then once you feel a little better, then you try to go back to that whatever big decision that you had to make, whatever work that you have to make. Sigh, yeah, like let it. You can sigh all you want, you can complain all you want, you can vent all you want, but at the end of the day, you must face the work, and you don't have to feel 100% to face those things, to go through that. You don't have to. 80% is fine, 60% is fine, 40% is fine. But if it's negative, don't, just take a break. Just charge it a little bit. Okay, I know sometimes you have deadlines, you have things to fill up before their due dates. But recharge as much as you can. Doesn't have to be 100%, but recharge. It helps a lot with going through it. And the idea is that you don't have to go through shit like with 0% energy. You don't want to do that. You don't want to face the storm with zero energy. You need some energy to go through it. Just and then just instead of focusing what's gonna happen after the deadline, focus on what you have. And focus that what you can do, and just if you don't have anything else, just fuck it, right? Fuck it, I mean, not like don't do it at all. I mean, do whatever you can. And if you're tired, slip it off. Just sleep and deal with it for another day. Fight another day. You know. If you don't have an energy for it, that's fine. But yeah, if you don't have an energy to fight anymore, just sleep and recharge. You cannot face a storm when you don't have energy at all. Rest, eat, take a bath, recharge, and then go back to battle, even though it's just a little, Yeah. Potatoes giving wisdom, life wisdom about productivity, basically. And more importantly, clean your damn social medias, your socials, basically. If you feel like whatever topics that's popping out in your algorithms just shitting on you, just start ignoring it. Fill with stuff. Share all the stuff that you like. I almost did that. Started filling in shit that is like, very dark and gloomy. Like, yes, I can acknowledge that. I can share a bit, but not a lot. The idea is like, don't engage it 100%. And, if you feel bad that, but, people are actually dying and whatnot. Yes, they are. But do whatever you can with the power you have. At least you can say to yourself that I can only do what I have to do, instead of just ignoring it, right? I know we cannot ignore this. We have our savior mindsets. We do. We want to save someone. We want to help someone. It helps us heal, right? That's like one of the nice methods to have, to be able to heal yourself, is to heal other people. But you have to understand that healing other people, saving other people, doesn't necessarily always save yourself. It's just avoiding. You're just avoiding yourself. It's just copium. It's just a lot of coping. It's a coping mechanism. And we have to understand that. Okay. 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 Now it's gloomy again. So I told you, no chill. No chill stream. I yap like that, you know. I yap already yap it up. Yap it up. Yeah. What should I draw? Draw crystals. I draw myself. I'll draw something shiny. What kind of shiny thing should I draw? Let's just draw a shiny ball. Like a gold colored ball. Yeah, this color is nicer. So I like to color shiny things. Shiny things. I really like the pencil. I'm gonna stick to that. Oh, yar. A little quiet because I'm processing what topic do I want to talk next. That is not depresso. I try not to trauma dump, but I love giving away tips, like wisdom. Because I know not a lot of people can afford therapy. So I try my best to share what I got from my own sessions. That I think it's just more general. I mean, I understand that not everything that one goes to a therapy would apply to the person. But it might, help. Because I think a lot of things that people are kind of struggling with is just similar things, right? Just similar issues, similar struggles. But the sources sometimes are not the same. So that's one thing that you have to understand when it comes to therapy. Like whatever sources that is cause you your pain may not be the same as mine. Like some people, they can, like for example, I have resentment with my upbringing, right? For some people, they don't have that. Their childhood was pretty chill. So they can move on more faster than I can. But there are people who are, like average ones like mine, but there are those who like immediately traumatized as well. So yeah, you gotta check on your own, basically. No one can check it out for you. And yeah, therapy is kind of, it's actually interesting. But yeah, you gotta open up yourself. Definitely. Can of worms. Not the most fun to face if you are someone very uncomfortable with emotions. I mean, if you want to start somewhere, yeah, you gotta start somewhere, right? I mean, if you want to you have to start somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's messy. People think that, therapy is like healing, meditating, yoga, etc., etc. Those are just tools. Those are just methods to cope, to calm yourself down. The real work is after you calm down. What's next? Are you gonna keep moving on, or are you gonna process what you just went through? If you're just doing it to avoid doing those work, then yeah, I mean, you can just request that kind of therapy, no problem. Your therapist will entertain you on that. That's why I always tell people, if you want to take therapy, which one do you want? Do you want light surface level, coping mechanisms, tools, tricks, mindset shifts, yada yada. Like basic mind stuff, mind fuck, no. Basically shifting your mindset to a little more like so that you be able to cope better, yada yada. Or you want to go the dig deep kind of route, But that's what I went through. I dig deep. I'm that kind of person. I look into what's wrong with me and I try to figure out. And cope. Yeah, this is not a nice brush. I'm gonna try to cope with what I have and work with that. Work with what is causing me all this pain and misery. It's not fun. Yeah, I mean, I tell up front, it's not fun. It's shit. It's a lot of crying, a lot of struggles. It's like growing up again, basically. But you're taking care of your little adult self. It's like you're finally giving yourself the attention that you needed as a kid. And basically growing up again. And it's but the best part is that you grow up pretty fast, And at the same time, you don't have to sacrifice anything. You don't have to sacrifice your inner child. You don't have to sacrifice those things that, a lot of typical adults would say, that's still childish of you. That hobby is still shit. You're too old for this. You're too old. There's no too old. When you heal, you're healed. And at that point, you start to realize and be able to prioritize things that actually matters to you. And that's how you heal. That's how you figure out. That's how you know that, okay, I finally found out what truly works for me. And that's scary. For a lot of people, that's scary. I had this discussion with my therapist. Yeah, I'm talking about mental health again. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna yap anyways. That's what I had a conversation with my therapist, is that I started to find out that, oh no, a lot of the things that makes myself, if you hear some shouting, that's the neighborhood people playing ball. If you start to realize that a lot of the mindsets that you have been carrying are just thoughts of your parents, basically. You just stuff that your parents just stuff it inside your head. They're not. You started to realize, oh no, I mean, are these mine? Are these even mine? Why are these ideals here? Like, these are not mine. These are my parents' ideals, And you start to question yourself, your own existence, your own, who you are as a person you are now. And then you start to realize, you question yourself, are these thoughts really mine? Is this who I am? And all these years, like, this wasn't fully who I am? No, that's kind of, it feels icky. It gives you the ick. It was so weird. I had that moment of total, like, it's as if someone turned on the lights in my head, and I started to realize that, oh damn, a lot of these are not mine. A lot of these ideals, like, no wonder I struggled so much. A lot of the ideals were put in me since I was a kid. And of course my therapist was like, but you were a kid and you had, literally they just put it in there, the thoughts and ideals have to come from somewhere. So it's there, and it's just you grew up and you start to realize these ideals doesn't work for you anymore with the environment that we live in, the era that we live in, the chaos that we live in right now. So it doesn't work. These ideals doesn't fit anymore. It's old, right? It's old-fashioned. So when you realize that, and that's how you feel like, okay, now what should I do? Where should I go from here? This is weird. And that's when you finally be able to sort all those things, right? You have this, like, okay, imagine you're in a room where you're call the ideals and ideals, wisdoms, experiences, or whatever you want to call it, right? Basically inherited from basically a collection of all the things in your childhood, right? And you start to realize that these are just folders that were just, yeah, basically it's a whole room filled with folders, like messed up everywhere, here and there, everything, anything that is considered data in your brain, right? So it's all in there. And you start to realize that, and then you one day after when you go to therapy, you spend time sorting all this out, and then you started to realize, oh damn, these are folders from, like, it may not be from your parents, from your grandparents or ancestors even, right? It's generations of wisdom passed down generation, and then it comes to you. And all this time, our parents were just compiling all those and just shove it onto you without caring whether or not it's going to help you out or not, right? And that's why they have, yeah, they have all this wisdom and whatnot. But for them, it's just, okay, I just take whatever I have. For the parents, for our parents' gens, right? Hello. For whatever our parents' generation, right? It's like they don't even bother to sort that folder. They just take whatever they have, they use, and then they just shove it to you because it works for them. But they also shove the rest of the other wisdoms. Like, here, whatever, just take it. And then you start to realize, holy shit, all these are not mine. All these ideals were not mine all this time. You're like, whoa. It was I had that moment of clarity at what point for the last couple of months, and it got me into these days, right? It's like, oh shit, so I am not me all this time. It was so weird. It was it's so otherworldly, such an otherworldly feeling. But yeah, like, break the generational trauma. Just open that file, sort it out, sort it nicely, keep it where it's safe. Not to say all those wisdom are bad, but it's useful, I guess. I mean, traditions that actually work, cultural stuff, all these things. These are precious things. They are ancestral things that is bigger than us. It makes up the whole race identity and whatnot. But for yourself, once you sort those out, once you realize whatever ideals that works for you and what works for your parents, and which one that you know you feel that is going to work out for you, that's when you finally be able to make peace with yourself, basically. And now you can finally be able to make a folder for yourself. That's where and then it's not necessarily just giving you a blank canvas or a blank file, but it's more like, okay, you start to be able to sort things that are, okay, that is genuinely your experience versus experience and ideals versus ones that are actually just inherited from your family, basically. And that's how you figure out. I mean, and the idea is to just use whatever you have and look back at whatever experience that you have, and that's what makes you you. And that's how you accept yourself. Man, my roller coaster brain works that way. But yeah, it was kind of an experience, really. Just being able to dig deep into your brain like that. Introspection is weird like that. Bonus when you pretty have a very strong imagination, so it's easier to imagine this process, basically. I have a lot of metaphors that I can use to imagine how your brain works, or how emotions work, or how your mental processing works. Like, identity, all these things. It's one thing, once it's all sorted out, that clarity was way, way beneficial. Definitely. It's like worth the time, worth the everything that you went through, basically. And at the end of the day, you can forgive yourself. I think that's what's important. it's an important process to go through to in order to forgive yourself, to uh what do they call it? I don't understand why, but they say mourn for the loss of yourself. Mourn for yourself for the potential that you had. I think that's something, it goes something like that. Yeah, mourn for the potential that you would have had if only you had this knowledge back then. So yeah, I mean, uh regardless, despite all this introspection, and the world is still shit. You have to also accept that. There has to be a balance, okay? Don't put everything on your shoulder. Don't blame everything on your shoulder. Take accountability, correct. That is true. That is something that we adults have to go through, but at the same time, also understand that the world is shit. Despite whatever people tell you, the world is shit. It's gone to shit. And it's just the reaction to that information is what differentiates between a healed mind, a healed soul versus, still a chaotic soul. Yeah. Yeah. Because sometimes I feel like a lot of people, I mean, the thing about healing processes, every time I see those talks and whatnot, it's always, they always talk about, um, oh, when it comes to healing, it's always about accountability. Yes, correct. But does not mean that we cannot blame things, It's always something about, it's always such a taboo to blame things. We can blame things. There are some things that are causing, they are the sources of our pain. It's just a matter of how, like, you can blame them, but then what's your solution? That's all. That's all. That's the accountability that you're talking about. So I have that problem before. I had that problem where my situation is completely my fault without realizing that just the economy is just shit. Our country is just shit with the creative industry, just in general, basically. And it's so much to process that. So, and label, very, very bad label laws. Ugh. Label laws here is like, meh. So much loopholes and shit. So, yeah, that's wisdom. That's experience. Okay, I've drawn this. What else do I want to draw? I draw realistic cat, I guess. I don't know. IDK. Yeah. Yo. Okay, note to self next time. Perhaps I have to pick one or the other. I found out today that I can't really yap while I doodle. Well, I mean, at least coherently, without losing my trail of thoughts. I have to pick one. Mango dude, I don't know. We're gonna draw. Yeah, I mean, I can try to draw Naruto. I haven't drawn him in ages. First, I need to. Can I freeform the video? Okay, no, sorry, I'm distracted. I got a message somewhere. Okay. So FYI, I'm drawing with a mouse. So squeeze the awkwardness of some things. Okay, I shouldn't be doing it. It's a little big. Yeah. I guess the reason why I'm so like mental health talk right now because yeah, to be honest, I just had my therapy today, so that's why I'm a little self introspective kind kind of in the mood. Yeah, MS Paint is okay. It's just it's not reliable as a professional tool, but it's still good. For me, when it comes to pixel art, I still like MS Paint because it's still stable enough. But you cannot do animation with it. That's the shitty part. But there are pretty decent pixel art softwares, and I need to find the one that there was one time because in my previous company they had like a training academy. They actually found a free pixel art software that can animate. I need to find that software again. At least I can do, animated pixel art pretty fast because it's pretty simple, it's intuitive. I need to find the name. I really forgot the name already. And it's completely free, so that's important. No. The bandana goes a little further here. Okay. And now we go here. Like that. Now I need to move you down because your spikes will not fit up there. Okay, there we go. Now he looks like Gojo. Gojo. No, I'm not gonna draw him. Fun fact, I don't like Gojo. Like, yeah, he's cool, but he has that fuckboy vibes and I don't like it. Give me old school shonen. Give me cool dudes. Hair should be this tall. This tall. But I do like Jujutsu Kaisen in general. I mean, it's not really the best thing because the whole series is just a mishmash of a lot of shonen anime basically to me. Shonen and seinen as well, so it's nothing new per se. I have a feeling also like Jujutsu Kaisen, I feel like it originally is a doujin of a fandom. I can't really guess which fandom, but because because yeah, I mean the whole Geto Gojo pair, like yeah, this feels like a doujinshi somewhere along the line. But it got so elaborate that the author decided, you know what, I'm gonna make something original out of this. And that's how Jujutsu Kaisen was written. I have that vibe because you don't know, and the reason why I know that because I do that. I do that a lot. I let my brain just do elaborate stories so much that like fan stuff, and I ended up, you know what, it's too convoluted to be a fan work. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna like rebuild the lore and but use like the same what should we call it, use the same plots, just create something new out of it. Yeah, sorry, distracted again. Freelance feedback live, but you won't see it, of course. Yeah, but yeah, it's like nowadays. Back then, I still remember how people were like fighting over, you know, whose idea is more original than the other. And then when you grow up and you realize how much everyone's just regurgitating everyone's whatever they consume, so and that's how I figure out that heck it or fuck it, I'm just gonna like use my whatever fandom that I like and just create something out of it. No big deal. Or create something inspired by it. That's what I meant. Now the hard part, the face. Yeah, nothing new under the sun. It's not easy to create something quote unquote original. It's not easy. But even then, it's still just regurgitated somewhere. It comes from somewhere. The inspiration is from somewhere. So yeah, technically, we're just... Okay, why am I doing eyebrows first? Damn. The confidence. Yeah, so I feel like thankfully nowadays people are not that into like, oh, whose idea is more original than who, but at least, not as toxic as it was back then, to the point where, you're accusing people of stealing ideas and designs and artworks basically. What's going on? I had accused a lot by that. It's just shitty. Just shitty behavior, Nowadays companies are even in fact companies these days is like very formal. Like, one person do this, everybody want to do this. Nothing original, just the same thing, same vibes. And of course, the whiskers. Yeah, let's go! Done with mouse, baby! I don't know if you can hear the clicking, but yeah. Hear the rigorous clicking. Clack, 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 clack. Let's go! Got my Naruto. One pin with a mouse. It's smaller. Oh, I might have more space. Phew. Okay, something's not blocking. Where are you? I do this a lot. Okay, there we go. Found you. Oh no. Stop leaking! Okay, here. Fine. Fine, I'll make sure everything's cut off. Okay. Alright, I had that problem in Photoshop anyway, so used to it already. I'm used to that annoyance. Okay, this yellow is a little too yellow. His yellow is this yellow, yeah. There we go. This is his dad's yellow, not his yellow. This is his yellow. He's more westernized apparently. Yeah, because apparently if I'm not mistaken, Kishimoto like originally had like he imagined that Naruto was like Western, like white kid. Sasuke was the Asian kid, and Sakura was the European kid, if I'm not mistaken. Like originally, they're not all Japanese. It was until they decided, okay, no, just one neutral race. One anime race. Basically. But then they have the hidden cloud village with all the black, the African American spy characters. I like them. I like that village. It's pretty cool. No. Let me locked in for a bit. Okay. Skin tone. Pretty pale, but I'm gonna use my style. It's a little darker. Okay. The trick is it's actually a darker shade of gray. Sorry, darker shade of white. A very light gray, whatever you want to call it. Oh god, I have the half horse, half man song stuck in my head right now. Oh, not this blue. His blue is this blue. Shippuden arc or his early arc? I'll go for Shippuden. Shippuden is black. Black on orange? Yes, black on orange. There we go. Drawing on page really got me pretty nostalgic. Because yeah, this is how I always draw it back then. I think it's like this kind of fun in a way because when you're drawing with softwares like this, there's no expectations put on you. It's paint. You can't really go anywhere with it, but so nobody cares basically. Like people always go, "What did you draw with?" Like, I draw with paint. I'm like, oh okay. Like nobody's gonna like complain that okay, just paint is just shit that way, so I guess that's why when people draw so awesomely on paint, everyone's like so impressed. I'm like, it's not that hard if you have the skills. It's just same application. Just on a little more inconvenient software, that's all. But the basics is still there. Basics is not far off. My only quarrel with paint is that once you export it, the image quality is just really shit. Just wish they improve on that. I don't know why. I tried to fix it before. Like, no, they really compress the image quality really badly. So literally for funsies, for doodling, not bad, but for everything else, for professional level, nah, not really. Oops. No, no. Okay, no. I'll be singing half horse, half man after this. Recently, I've been like listening to some random songs, and then of course YouTube recommendations gave me like similar genres of that song. I'm like, oh no. Too bright. Here. Whoops. Whoops. Hey. Naturo. As my friend likes to say. Chocolate. Oh, hang on. Oh, I'll take a sip. Switch. Yeah. So I guess. Oh yeah, but this week I'm not gonna be streaming Wednesday. I think it's just for this week. I need to sort some things out. But Friday will be as usual. I'll be continuing the room game, the room 3. So 1 and 2 is already done, so it's gonna be the third one. Next, basically, I'm trying at the moment. I'm trying to push towards puzzle games. I like puzzle games, so finishing the room is just, just showing the progression. I might stop at 3 and I might stop at 3 and try to break and try to get other games. Yeah, other games are already in my Steam ready to be played, so actual games that I haven't played yet because puzzle games, I understand that. I mean the room because I already played before, so basically I'm going through them pretty fast because some of them I remember, some I don't. So, but regardless, yeah, point and click games, my thing. Yeah, I mean other than that, I think because it's more lighter on my PC, I do want to play heavy games, but kinda nah. See how my potato PC would cope. I know some games. It's one of the reasons why I thought maybe I want to continue like games like 7 Days to Die or whatever, but it does become quite laggy after a while because this VTuber model is pretty heavy. So if I want to play something heavy, I may have to just stick to PNG tubing, PNG tuber. So it's a little lighter. Trying to find. I used to not use VStudio as the software to run this model, but that app is gone, so I have to use VStudio whether I like it or not. It's quite heavy, so. And this is like a very basic model, right? I can you imagine, like, fully, anime avatar with all those effects and toggles and whatnot. Like I can't imagine how heavy it would be on the PC. and that's why sometimes you see your VTubers just go for their PNG versions, because yeah, it's like sometimes the avatar is just a little too heavy. But at least wondering if I want to do like a Hari Raya special. See how. I guess that's one. What kind of games there are like Malaysian related, right? Like that would be nice. Or does it like what kind of games that I can turn to like some kind of a Malaysian theme? I mean, there is like I had this idea in Minecraft where I want to build like a rumah kampung, because I like building in Minecraft, so I like to do that. Like basically building a actual kampung village in Minecraft. But Minecraft is like a lot of dead air, lots of like slow progress, and I don't want to spend so much hours on, just collecting resources and whatnot. So it's gonna be like a Tato Talk Minecraft build, basically. But we'll see. If it's Minecraft, maybe I might try it. Yeah, because it'd be kind of curious. Maybe I can make a series out of it, but not really like all the time streaming. Because I did have an idea where I want to just play some games offline and then just post it like a content on my channel. So just as a test for the algorithm. I know like VODs are a little too long. I had the idea or plan to actually make shorter versions of the VODs, but I require time for that. I mean, I did say that during the break I wanted to go for that, but I did not because I got overwhelmed. Shit happens, I guess. So, but we'll see. I guess one of those times I wish that I had some income so that I can pay video editors, because it will make it easier. I'm not that great with video editing, but it's something. At least I know what kind of content that I can cut, which one I can cut, which one I can include, that sort of thing. But I'm not like those able to make it any more interesting than it should be. I just make it just short enough to people to just consume in a short time kind of way. Yeah, but we'll see how. But I think but I have enough like VODs to be able to create content to make it into short content. But yeah, I need time for it, and that's all. At the moment, still I have a big freelance work, so I cannot really focus on anything else. So yeah. Not to mention if I have a job later on, man. It's one of the reasons why I'm not sure if I want a job right now. I should. Emphasize on should. But from the progress that I'm going through right now, it's not so bad. Like working from home can be tough, yes, but I've created a system that made me productive enough to be able to follow up on commissions and freelancing. So yeah. Full-time work from home. I wish that there are work from home jobs, but nah, most of it wants to be in office. I know there are hybrids, but I don't even want hybrids. I want to be, yeah, but we'll see. I'm not even surprised that I'm not like probably not gonna have a full-time job for the time being even, and I've come to the point where I accepted that fate, and yeah, just move on with my life, I guess. At least I'm happier. At least I won't say happier is okay, but at least I'm more at peace. I think that's more important to me. I'm more at peace. I'm more, how to say, aligned. Yeah, I'm more aligned with myself. And Okay, hang on. I don't know why I want to draw like this. No, I don't want to draw it. What else I want to draw? I'm just gonna draw like a box-shaped cat. But yeah, hang on. Locking in. Brain wants to focus on this. But yeah, I'm at a point where I'm wondering if... I would say wondering if I want a full-time job, but I think it's more like I'm okay if I'm not getting a full-time job at this point. I guess that's what my brain is trying to tell me. It's like, it's okay to not... I mean, stability is much needed, of course. But I feel this is more sustainable, then I will just do my bestest. And just do whatever, right? The commissions are doing alright. Right now I'm just slowing down because I have that freelance job, but at least I've got some whatchamacallit, like it's not feedback, a reach. At least I have some reach because I started to be active on Twitter again because VTubers are. But yeah, at least I'm like more active there, so I decided to just go for there and just spam, just tell people that yeah, I'm open for commish. And I got pretty decent numbers, so I think that's a cool part. How orange? Yes, this orange. I like calicos. I draw calico cats. It is Oyen, and now it will be Calico. Yeah, I'm locking in right now. Here we go. Go. Kitty. Small. Oh, suddenly this was a PNG. What the fuck? Weird. Why is this a PNG, but when I cut off the others, suddenly the white part is there? You do not make sense, paint. What can I draw next? I'm gonna draw taiyaki. Kinda miss eating taiyaki basically. I hope I can afford to travel this year. It's not even like about vacation or anything, but I just need time away. See a totally different climate and environment. Like cute eye should I make? There. And then hang on, let me move this. Weird, that's a PNG. What happened just now? When I did like the others, they tend to be like they have like a white background on it. Weird. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite. Chomp. Chomp on this taiyaki. You can see the filling. Of course, my favorite, red bean. May or may not have been drawing this because I'm hungry. Maybe I am hungry. I will have snack later. Okay, that's a little too red, too bloody. It has to be a little more purple. Oh, paler-ish. Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah. Yeah. Little highlights, I guess. Little highlights. Whoa, whoa, and meow, meow. I should do like a time lapse of this stream basically, so that you can see all the like a speed up time lapse. Since I am recording this, so what else? What else? Just one more before I close up, I guess. Because I am hungry, that's why I drew that taiyaki. Yep, I'm burping. Oh, that was favorite thing. Apple jeans. I still do like the decorative potions. But I'm just waiting for events so that I can sell them. Typical red mana or red HP potion, I guess. Oops. magical sparklies. Okay. And then right here. And bam. And then the trick. Whee. Okay, no, that's ugly. No. I think that's enough, I guess. Big deal. Just do this. No, not that. This yay. I also need to need this. No. Fine. There we go. Too dark. Okay lah. Too ugly. I need this color. Good. Read them cheese holes. And what else? I make a string just wrap around it. Color just like this, and then darker color to this. Iya po yun. Signature, I guess. Ubi. Get out. Come on. I can do this. There. That's a signature. So okay. I think I'm done for today. It's almost midnight anyways. I'm hungry. My stomach is growling just now. Row row. So thanks for joining. See you guys this Friday. Yes, this Friday for the Room 3 gameplay. No Wednesdays for this week. No Wednesday stream. I need to focus on freelancing. I need to finish it up, the big ones. And yeah, thanks for joining in. Hope you hear little wisdom. Hope you get to hear some wisdom from a little potato again. Thank you for hearing. Forgive me if I sound that I accidentally trauma dump. I tend to do that a lot, but I try my best not to do any more of that. Yeah, try to be more. I mean, I will yap about mental health, that's for sure, but I try my best not to be depressed, so I'm trying to keep an eye on that. Okay, see you guys Friday. Bye bye.